Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Richmond Raceway as we are here for the third race of the season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. I almost said the Wawa Cup Series. We're done with that. Hey, and another huge congratulations to Drew Webb for winning the Wawa Cup Series title back on Sunday. Hey, we got ourselves an early season going on here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Still 16 races left to go until we crown a champion. And for the first time ever, we're here at the Richmond Raceway. This race essentially replacing Atlanta. And a little disclaimer before we get started. I was originally going to call this race the Lilly Trucking 250, but the last Lilly Trucking went out of business. So it's the Virginia is for Lovers 250, 63 laps here around this 3/4 of a mile DJ build. We got a fuel window about 37 laps in. Joined alongside Brendan Wilmington and Matt Tugg for the call of this one. We're going to have some fun here tonight. Brendan, it's been a while since you've called a race. Last one you called was that Gateway race that Drew Webb won. This place has some similarities, at least in the setup. What do these guys need to do to get to victory lane here at the Richmond Raceway?
Well, Richmond is a pretty flat track, a 3/4 mile racetrack, and yeah, I agree. It does kind of race similar to Gateway, so you'll probably see similar things to that track as well. I expect a bit more passing than Gateway, but it should be a fun one, that's for sure.
And Matt, of course, you have a couple of drivers in this race, Blaine Keys and Noah Clifton, but they start deep in the field. And if you're starting deep in the field here at the Richmond Raceway, what do you need to do to get up front and have a chance at the race victory?
Getting up front here, Richmond can always be tricky, but the easiest two ways are just stay out of trouble and find yourself an opportunity, a lane to create yourself, to get yourself on maybe an alternate strategy or use the undercut here. We see a lot. Tire wear does come into a factor at this racetrack quite a bit, and that extra getting on the pit road a lap or two early can always come into beneficial. So usually that's the two best ways to get through the field here, or just have a fast truck. We'll happen to see if we have fast trucks here tonight, but that always helps too.
Of course, 63 laps, one of the longer races of the season on these short tracks this year as well. Of course, when we go to Iowa, which is just a little bit longer, that's only a 50-lap race later on in November. But we're here tonight for the third race of the season, and in the points standings after two races, Nathan Stapleton holds on to the points lead, and he starts ninth here tonight, so he could have a good opportunity at extending that going into our next race at Bristol. Avery Alford is 4 points behind. Great run for our Sprint Series champion. Joe Rutkowski, the season 7 champion of the trucks, is 6 points behind. Bruno Diacomo, a great start to his season. He starts 5th. He's 7 points behind. And John Andrews rounds out the top 5, 8 points behind in the championship standings. But on the pole for Echo Evans Ross's team, it's the 93 of Thomas Trox alongside Zachary Fitzwater in the 54. Got Eric Drew in the number 3 machine to the inside of Derek Hamill, our Daytona winner there in row number 2. Bruno Diacomo and Joe Rutkowski make up row number 3 here tonight. You got Andrew Miller in the 41 and Igor Barreto trying to rebound after just the heartbreak that he had in the Truck Series race at Darlington last week where he blew up while leading. So hoping that doesn't happen today. And then you got the Nathans in row 5. Nathan Stapleton and Nathan Orman make up that row, with Josh Williamson and Sebastian Kukalon in row number 6. And we'll make sure all these guys roll off. Brennan and then Matt, who do you guys think is going to go to victory lane here tonight at the Richmond Raceway in the Virginia is for Lovers 250?
I think I am going to pick somebody that is up near the front of the field, inside the top 10. I'll go with the 3-car of Eric Drew to win this race here today.
I don't really know how this race will play out, but I'm going to take the pole sitter, Thomas Troxel, and is going to score the first victory here. Has shown a lot of speed on short tracks all year round.
And I will say, the last short track race we had in the Turkey Hill Truck Series was won by Eric Drew, Martinsville, last December. He starts 3rd, and Troxel won the Wawa Cup Series here about a month ago. He's going to lead us to the green flag. We're underway at Richmond on a Friday night. Well, Troxel off to a great jump. Gonna go 2 in a row here at Richmond. Obviously, we mentioned, got the win in the Wawa Cup Series back in July. Of course, that was a 100-lap event. This only 63 laps, but still a cycle of pit stops will be done at some point. Eric Drew up to second. Bruno Diacomo up to third. That inside lane, absolutely the place to be to start this race. Andrew Miller up to fourth, and you got Nathan Stapleton rounding up the top 5.
Oh.
As Hamill way off and out of line. He's 3 wide on the outside.
I don't really know what happened to Hamill there. Got shuffled to the outside and then just got 3 wide into the top of the racetrack.
Comes our last winner. Casey Nanico, 98, got the race victory at Darlington. There for Trackhouse Racing. Trackhouse has had a good season so far. Obviously got the win in the Mellow Yellow Zero Sugar 200 last week. And their other driver, Eric Drew, currently running in the second position, but he's under fire from Bruno Diacomo. And Diacomo looking for his first ever win on the channel. It's a great opportunity for him here tonight, trying to get around this 3 machine for that second position.
Diacomo, I've seen him in a few races up to this point. I think it's about time that he got himself a win. He's in a pretty good position to do so right now. He's got a couple trucks to pass, though. And there's a pretty good gap between the top 3 and the 4th place car of Andrew Miller in the 41. And the 72 of Josh Williamson, 61 of Nathan Stapleton. Those are teammates for Triad Racing, battling each other. And another side-by-side battle. I'm kind of learning the roster as we go. Joe Rutkowski in the 36, getting to the inside of John Andrews in the 49. That is for the 7th position as they fight, as well as Casey Nanico getting out to the outside from the 52 car of Andrew Williams.
Williams having a good run here. Good run so far this season. 6th in the championship standings. There's Andrew and Andrew on Ryan Durrani's team right there. Both drivers having a pretty solid run so far in this race. Just with this being a short track, a little difficult to make some moves and make some passes. We've seen a little shuffling around so far. Caleb Rose moving to the inside of Andrew Williams there for position. Caleb Rose looking pretty fast for Braden Perez's team there. Brook Boys Garage. Fitzwater, definitely not a good run for him. Falling back in that 54 machine. Down the 12th, about to get passed by Philip Torres there for the 12th position. Agar Bretto and Brian Webb. Of course, Drew Webb, the owner of this team. I'm sure he's on cloud 9 right now after winning that Wawa Cup Series title. Of course, the last race for this team was absolutely devastating, with both drivers failing to finish, both drivers having mechanical issues while running in the top 5. We'll move back up front. Eric Drew all over the back bumper of Thomas Troxel here on lap 9. And like I mentioned, the last time we had a short track race here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, Eric Drew went to victory lane at Martinsville, and he's moving to the inside there. And Trackhouse Racing will go back-to-back here in the Truck Series early on in the season.
Eric Drew with a strong run here early on. He's going to take that 3 out front here and also take Bruno Diacomo with him. Eric Drew here with a strong run. Troxel's where Troxel's got to be really careful. Does he fight these guys early on? He's obviously got a fast truck sat on the pole position here, but Diacomo goes by in the 82 in that beautiful Sigtel machine. A lot of amazing liveries in this field, by the way. I have to point that out. But Eric Drew with a strong run to the front of the field. And now we'll see how Troxel settles in. And Bruno Diacomo honestly looks like he's got some speed in this 82 truck here. So we're going to see how he settles in here as this run progresses on. But top 3, top 4 really starting to break away here from the rest of the pack.
And of course, starting to get a little more single file. First double wide battle in the field, all the way in the back. That's Aaron Abel in the 05. And hey, you know, your 2 guys there, Matt, are moving up a little bit, at least 23rd, 24th right now. A lot better than where they started there with Noah Clifton and Blaine Keys. Nicholas Samadillo in the middle of all this. Of course, he's still heartbroken after what happened at Darlington last week. Still had a great race, but just not enough to defeat the 99 in the championship standings. Nathan Orman falling back, unfortunately, in the 24. Not a good run for him as he started on that outside lane and fell back rather quickly. And then the back row here, Shane Lake in the 88 and Sam at Oskin in the 94. Got Roberto Crown Jr. back here as well, and Logan Williams deep in the field. Of course, we're still early on in the season, and all these guys kind of running all over the place, but we'll get to a point where we start seeing certain drivers gaining advantage. However, the advantage is not going to be near as much in this series as it was in the Wawa Cup Series, as we only have a 18-race season, so not as much time for these guys to build up their ratings throughout the season, which means each of these races early on in the year mean just as much as the ones at the end of the season. And especially considering we've got a strict points championship. These guys who are running up front right now could very well put them in position once we get to December and the later part of this season.
Bruno Giacomo is all over the back of Eric Drew right now. Troxel's kind of faded from this top two. That 82 car looks really fast. I'm impressed with the speed on that car, but he hasn't quite found a way around Eric Drew just yet. He might try something off of turn 2. Is he going to peek to the inside? Not yet. It doesn't appear that he's going to quite... Oh, the 3.
Oh, we got a caution.
Oh,
so here we go. Race back to the line. Eric Drew will win it. And I think Micah Knapp went around in the 9. Good to see Micah back behind the wheel of a stock car. It's been a while since he's driven himself here on the channel. But it looks like he got himself sent around there. We got our first yellow of the night here in the Virginia Is for Lovers 250. Lap 17 of 63. They're still going to have to make another stop from this point on, as we have ourselves 47 laps left in the race, and the fuel window is about 36 to 37 laps. So this race just got interesting because they're not going to be able to make it to the end, but you definitely want to get some tires. Even though the tire wear is not significant here at Richmond compared to our last track at Darlington, these guys still going to fuel it up and get ready for this restart here. Eric Drew going to lead us down the pit lane with Bruno Giacomo, Thomas Troxel, Andrew Miller, and Nathan Stapleton in the top 5. See what Eric Drew can do. Started in the 3rd position for this race, and he's got that 3rd pit stall. Troxel's got the 1st one, and these guys are right on each other here.
Going to be interesting now, too, because that 2nd stop of the race should come about lap 53.
Ooh.
Giacomo drops the jack. Ooh, boy.
There's a bit of a slow one there for Eric Drew. Bruno Giacomo wins the race off the pit lane in the 82 machine. And then it's Troxel, Eric Drew, Joe Rutkowski, and John Andrews, the top 5. Oh, what happened to Stapleton? Stapleton came down in the 3rd position, and he's got an issue there in the 61. Igor Barreto and Andrew Miller as well with slow stops. A tough break for those guys right there.
I think they had problems getting into their pit box. It's kind of at an awkward angle, so that's a tough break for them.
Just the good thing is they will all remain on the lead lap, but they're going to lose all their ground. That's 2 weeks in a row for Igor Barreto. He had a much better run than what he's got right now going for him, and he has fallen back. So Bruno Giacomo now out front in the 82. It's Troxel, Eric Drew, Joe Rutkowski, and John Andrews, the top 5. Still got a long ways left to go here tonight at the Richmond Raceway. Let's see what happened to bring out the first caution and then get to the restart here in the Virginia Is for Lovers 250 from Richmond. Here we go for our first caution of the night. Micah Knapp in the 9 gets shuffled 3 wide, and Roberto Crown Jr. comes up on him, and Ozkin also comes up. Ozkin's a half lane up right there. And then right when Ozkin gets in the Crown Jr., that's what sends the 9 around. Hard into that outside wall as well. That was kind of a hard hit right there. Single car spin, however, but it still brings out the caution. Everyone came down the pit lane, and we'll have ourselves another cycle of pit stops before the end of this race.
Towards the back of the field, we got a couple rows of 3 wide here, but one of them didn't work. Truck sliding up the track. Micah Knapp ends up getting the worst end of that. Pretty big hit, and considering the hit, I'm surprised about the lack of damage on the 9 cars, so that's something interesting to note. But regardless, tough break for the 9. And pretty tight race here for the lead, the 3 and the 82. 82 looked like, Giacomo looked like he was about to make a pass on the 3, but he's going to have to do it. I guess he passed him in the pit lane.
Yeah, he did. He already did that, so he already made the pass. Didn't have to do it on the racetrack. He's going to restart first. We'll see what he does on that restart right now here at the Richmond Raceway. We're back here at the Richmond Raceway, Richmond, Virginia, on a Friday night in early September. I mean, they used to have the Richmond race weekend during this weekend. What happened to that? I missed that. It's the last race before the chase. Well, hey, it's the 3rd race of the season for these guys in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Bruno Giacomo, your race leader. Andrew Miller on the tail end of the lead lap. He did not beat the pace truck off there after an extended pit stop. Thomas Troxel, Eric Drew, Joe Rutkowski, and John Andrews, the top 5. Everyone is technically on the lead lap with Miller on the tail end. Back underway, lap 22 of 63, and we got ourselves 42 laps to go in this race. They will still have to come back down again before the end of this event. Troxel looking to get around Miller here. They're all looking to get around this 41 and put him a lap down.
Eric Drew got absolutely smoked on that restart, and he's getting past on that inside lane. He got stuck up there on that jump. Miller gets put a lap down. We got 3 wide further back in the pack. That might be a hairy situation. That's Nanako on the inside. Brian Webb in the middle, and the 5 of Laura Chung on the outside. They're going to make it work, it looks like, but 3 wide action going on back there. And we saw, we got some more action up front. The 14 car, or 14 truck, rather.
Orman's down the pit lane.
Trying to make up.
Ludovic Charette here. So, I want to mention 2 drivers here. Ludovic Charette and Laura Chung. It's a silly season for Wawa Cup Series has already begun. And it was announced today, we're recording this on Monday, that Ludovic Charette will be joining you, Matt, with the Grattan Autosport team next year. That's huge news. But then also Laura Chung going to be joining the Dracoan Racing Enterprises team on the Cup side next year as well. And that's definitely a huge boost for her, because she was also with Fitzwater there at Everbell, and they just didn't have anything going for him there. Tough break there for Nathan Ormond, who had to come down the pit lane in the 24, and he's back out, lap down. So we got 2 drivers lap down. It's Ormond and Miller, and Bruno Diacomo is out of here in the 82 machine. He is ready to finally get that win. When we had Indy 250 week, the Indy 250 back in May, attempted to qualify for that race. Failed to qualify as an Indy 250 only driver. Didn't get a chance to run it. It's been tough for Bruno Diacomo. Barely made it into the chase, but didn't have the best car throughout the Sprint Series chase there, and finished 10th in the championship standings. But I know he'd love to get the Truck Series championship and have an opportunity at a full-time Cup ride next year. The Truck champion does get a Cup reserve, assuming they already aren't an owner or already have one. How about Millennium Motorsports here? Joe Rutkowski, Philip Torres, 3rd and 4th right now. Andrew Williams moving up to the field. John Andrews falling back in the 49. Ludovic Charette here, getting around Eric Drew. Drew falling back in the 3 machine. Charette up to 7th. Miller's a lap down. Fitzwater back in the top 10. And then you got Chris Reynolds in the top 10 right there as he gets around Brian Webb.
A lot of drivers moving up through the field. Shout out to Blaine Keys in the number 1 truck, my guy over there, working his way through the field slowly but surely, going to get a nice run hopefully out of this. But we're seeing all sorts of silly season moves, but all sorts of guys really hugging that bottom yellow lane here. There's no grip up on the top of this racetrack here. Keys, he's going to go 3 wide. Can he get the 2 for down into turn number 1? Gets to the bottom of the 99, gets to the bottom of the 25. I think he's going to get this 25 set up here in about a lap or so, but a really strong run for Blaine Keys. Started on there's 34, 36 trucks in the race, started on the next to last row, and has really shown us some pace here to move that 1 truck through the field. But up front, it's the Bruno Diacomo show. He is just putting on a clinic right now. Oh my goodness.
Andrew Williams and Philip Torres off at turn 2. That was close. Williams has a lot of speed in this 52 machine. And Williams just, watch out for Andrew Williams. Of course, Logan got the Southern 500 win on Sunday. Of course, Andrew, an owner over there in the Cup Series. Of course, his team will remain the same. Brian Webb and Braden Perez returning to Team Williams next year. Those guys were very strong, especially Perez. Blaine Keys, like I mentioned, he's going over to Racing Motorsports and Aaron Abel. So Aaron Abel definitely picking up 2 strong drivers next year with Blaine Keys and Justin Zeidel. Excited to see those guys. And look at Williams here. To the inside of Rutkowski. He's going to make it look easy on both of these guys right here. And watch out for Andrew in that 52 machine. He could have a good opportunity at pulling one off, especially considering we still have a cycle here. That could get really dicey once we get to the end of this race. But Diacomo giving himself a bit of a cushion right there before that cycle begins. So he's got a 1.27 second lead on Thomas Troxel right now. They continue the battle here. Philip Torres on his teammate, Joe Rutkowski. That's for the 4th position.
49 of John Andrews running behind them. Now the 14 of Charette is going to go to the inside. The newest Grattan Autosport driver in the Cup Series. Great to see Charette in a car of that caliber. But Charette trying to go for a top 5 here in the Truck Series. That is going to put him into 6th. And that's only one more spot till the top 5. But yeah, Giacomo up there in front, 1.3 seconds. Then Troxel's got about 6/10 on the next driver. So those two have been class of the field right now. Eric Drew has fallen down to 8th after looking like the fastest truck in that first run. But a bad pit stop combined with a bad restart has set him back. It'll be interesting to see if Eric Drew can recover from that.
Andrew Williams is going to take second here from Troxel. Troxel really washed it up the racetrack right there. And Ludovic Charette, he just passed his old owner right there. John Andrews, former team owner there. Of course, I'm sure Charette is very appreciative of all the things that he had there at Andrews Racing last season, or this past season in the Wawa Cup Series, but Grattan Autosport definitely one of the top teams. Speaking of which, Nicholas Samadio in the 23, up to 11th. He's been rebounding very well, and Blaine Key's in the top 10 now. But this 23, along with Andrew Williams, I think they're two of the fastest trucks on the track right now. Oh, but maybe not. Williams got shuffled out of line, and Philip Torres moving back to the inside there. Meanwhile, Diacomo's got a 2-second lead now on the field as Philip Torres moves to the inside for third.
Philip Torres showing out really strong here. Millennium Motorsports also having a very, very strong day here to have both of their drivers inside of the top 5 here, over halfway through the go. And Chase Harris got to be happy with how this season has started out for this team here. But this 44 looks strong. Teammate to the 44 looks strong. Andrew Williams looks strong here too. See though, who's gonna? It's the 44 tucks in there, but I mean, real question is there as Philip Torres dials in, what is somebody gonna cook up to try and see if they can undercut Bruno Diacomo in this 82 truck? Because I don't think unless these lappers, which Nathan Orman is in front of Diacomo right now, we'll find out. Unless these lappers really start to throw a fit, I don't know how you're getting to this 82 truck tonight at the pace that he's holding here. Just under 25 laps to go here, though, in this race.
And I'm sure Hergel is much happier about the drivers he's got here in the Truck Series and who he'll end up having next year as well, at least in terms of Diacomo. Rogel Dorn also moving up in the 4 machine. He was way back. He's up to 18th, so not the best of starts for Rogel this season, but like I said, still early on. But I'm sure Hergel's loving this. Of course, not a good run for his team over in the Cup Series, and Bruno Diacomo maybe could steal the win here and get one for Hergel here in the 3rd race of the season. Of course, Hergel's going to have Rogel Dorn as a full-time Cup driver next year, and Avery Alford, the Sprint Series champion, going to join that team. Alford's going to be a rookie in the Cup Series next year, but excited to see what he can do as Philip Torres now to the inside. We got a couple of Sprint Series guys that are looking to go 1-2 right here. A couple guys that ran in the Sprint Series all year, a couple of chasers in the Sprint Series. Torres unable to get around Troxel right there, and that's the thing I like about the trucks. You got all those guys who are running in the Sprint Series all year long, and then you got the full-time Cup guys who are battling for the title, like Thomas Troxel and Nicholas Samadio. The trucks just bring them all together, and that's the fun thing about what we got here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And hey, we got 20 laps to go here at Richmond, and Bruno Diacomo pulling away to a near 3-second lead in the Virginia 250.
He is absolutely checked out field. He's on a class of his own here. I don't know what adjustments they made to that truck over that pit stop, but definitely they worked. It could also help, though, that they are battling each other for second and not trying to catch Diacomo. Maybe they realize they can't really run him down at this point. But 44 car, Philip Torres is going to move up to second, and I'm pretty sure Torres ran a lot of races in the Sprint Series for Hergel's team as well. But now the 52 of Andrew Williams is going to try and take second. This is an incredible battle for second. Thing is, it is still a battle for second, but it's still fun to watch regardless.
Oh yeah, this is definitely where the action is. And Rakowski going to split these guys. Andrew Williams is going to finally take that second position away. That 44 got around him. Oh, but Torres, look at what Torres is doing. He's kind of pushing that outside lane going into the corner, and he's kind of making it stick. They've been side by side for a while now.
That Millennium Motorsports team gotta have something up in the the chassis department, maybe we'll say, they've been very strong to be able to work all sorts of lanes. And this battle here just opened. It did two things. It opened Bruno Diacomo's lead, and it opened this battle for second from about 3 to 4 trucks to 7 trucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks here. And Fitzwater behind all these guys is not far off. And we're coming up on the pit cycle. And this guy right here, we all know who he is.
Yeah. I'm sure, you know, big chip on his shoulder. He didn't even get a win in the Wawa Cup Series. Almost won the title. I mean, he came oh so close, and he'll be returning to Appalachia Motorsports next year in the Cup Series, but definitely a driver to watch out for here with Grattan Autosport. Kind of a team player with both teams, with Appalachia with Caleb's team, and then Grattan Autosport here in the trucks and IndyCar earlier this year as well. Meanwhile, Andrew Williams trying to cut into Diacomo's lead, but that 82 is just out of here. But like I mentioned, all these guys are going to have to come down at one point before the end of this race to top off on fuel, and that could get very interesting because do you take tires? I mean, like I mentioned, the tire wear here at Richmond isn't really that significant as compared to Darlington especially. He may fall off maybe half a second at the end of the run compared to 2.5 seconds, so there's not much to gain if you're going to take tires, especially if it's only going to be 5 laps to go. So this last pit stop, you want to gas and go and get out of there and have an opportunity at this win, as we only have ourselves now 12 laps to go, and the Virginia is for Lovers 250. And Bruno Diacomo looking to get his first career win on the channel here tonight. He's got a great opportunity at doing so.
I think instead of normally when you try to go for an undercut to try and catch the leader, I think in this situation, because it's so close to the end, it would be more beneficial to try and go as long as you can so that you have to come into the pit lane and take as little fuel as possible. So I think the overcut is actually the right strategy here at the end. It's going to be hard to gain all that time on Diacomo. I dare say, unless something dramatic happens, which considering some of the Cup Series races we've seen over this season isn't out of the question. But not trying to jinx anything, but it's going to be very hard to catch that 82. But if you could cook up a strategy like that, there might be a chance that you could get a better finish.
It's going to be interesting to see if any of these guys here, like Andrew Williams, like Philip Torres, like Troxel, try something to maybe get around this 82. I don't know. I just feel like they're too far behind to really get anything to work. It's just going to be interesting to see how that ends up shaking out. Go through the field here. See who else is running. Hey, Mike and App got spun out, and he rebounded up to 21st. Not too bad for him there. Our Daytona winner struggling there in 23rd, however. And Barretto kind of off the pace as well. And Stapleton, our points leader here, all the way down in 32nd. And it's just the nature, you know. I mean, the early races in these seasons are much like how it used to be, where, you know, anyone can run at any time. But I think we can all agree, at least the three of us in the booth right now can agree, that the Wawa Cup Series was so much more interesting at the end of the season because all the championship competitors were running up front in each of the races. And that's the goal as the cycle has begun. Logan Williams is coming off the pit lane. Now, he was deep in the field. We got some more guys coming down. They got to be careful, though, not to get trapped a lap down or trapped a lap down when a caution comes out, if a caution comes out. Bruno Diacomo is now down the pit lane. It looks like they're going at least right sides, and only right sides on Philip Torres. We'll see what Diacomo can do. Andrews. Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
The caution came out. The caution came out. Avery Alford in the 38 may have just blown an engine at the most inopportune time. Diacomo still on the lead lap, but John Andrews just took the race lead away. Oh, boy. We got some guys still kind of racing back to the line. I think Philip Torres is going to be able to stay on the lead lap here. And some guys staying out. Joe Rutkowski in the 36 is staying out. Logan Williams there. Eric Drew in the 3. I'm not sure what he's doing there. I think he's officially 5th. Some guys came down. Where did Diacomo end up falling to? That is such a heartbreaker, and it's just as I was saying, Kukulon caught up in that one as well. Avery Alford, I think, was the other driver that was significantly caught up. Troxel and Andrews just came down the top off. Giacomo in the 82. He's all the way down in... Where is he? I know he's not a lap down. 13.
We got a lot of trucks pitting.
13th. Rutkowski and Williams going to stay out. Sam Adio, Chung, they can't keep it on the racetrack. Rogel Dorn's down as well. Oh, and Josh Williamson kind of stopped on the pit lane there. My goodness, what the heck is going on here? So Rutkowski looking to possibly stretch the fuel to the end. Logan Williams is a lap down. As far as I know, he's a lap down. Yes, he's 2 laps down. Eric Drew is a lap down. I think Ozkin is also a lap down. Orman, we know, is a lap down. Diacomo has cycled to 2nd. So, Diacomo might still end up getting this race win, and here we go. Rutkowski's pitting. Rutkowski is pitting. He's not going to be able to stretch it. So, we're going to probably...
Time?
We're probably going to get the lights to go out right here. And Rutkowski is going to be, or should I say, Diacomo is going to be your race leader. With Troxel in 2nd, Andrews in 3rd, Williams and Charette. So, the end of the day, it's gonna be a 1-lap dash because the lights are still not out on the pace truck. We'll keep it right here for you. Review the accident there. You see it in the corner of your screen, or however I feel to edit it in for you guys. All right, so try to explain this one, guys. What on earth are we seeing here?
Well, Diacomo's going to have a lap, I'm assuming, because I'm assuming the lights go off this time by. Diacomo's only going to have to make 3/4 of a mile. The only catch Diacomo has is Diacomo's got a few... Really, it's the 24 truck and Nathan Orban sitting in front of him. That could open the door for Thomas Troxel. Thomas Troxel, he only needs 1 lap. Just drive it down into turn 1. See if you can get under Diacomo. If he gets to the back stretch, without being side by side, I don't think Troxel's going to have a chance to beat him, but this is going to be this is a big pressure restart for Diacomo here. This is not going to be a cakewalk to get this, even though it's just 1 lap. He's going to have to really hug that bottom and hopefully jump by Nathan Orman on the restart, because if he doesn't, he's going to be under all sorts of pressure.
I really don't know what Rutkowski and those guys were doing, staying out and then coming back down, because Rutkowski's lost a bunch of ground because of that decision. Troxel and Andrews came down right when the caution came out there, and now they have an opportunity at the race win. It's Diacomo, Troxel, Andrews, Andrew Williams, and Ludovic Charette, the top 5. We got 4 trucks in the way. It's a 1-lap dash at Richmond. Who's going to get it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. He got held up a little bit, but Andrews made a move on Troxel, and that might do it. Oh, that's really going to do it.
Gone.
And Andrews is around in the inside wall. And he's going to come up and get an air enable. And it's a bit of a stack up there. Meanwhile, Bruno Diacomo in the 82 gets his first career win on the channel. And everything got thrown at him at the end, but he's going to be able to hold on and get it done here. And the Virginia is for Lovers 250. Ludovic Charette's going to finish 2nd. Then it's Troxel, Andrew Williams, and Roberto Crown Jr. going to get a top 5. Where did they come from there? My goodness, that was crazy.
That got really chaotic there at the end, and I saw a bunch of cars go into the pits at the end. There's a car out of fuel on the front straightaway. A few cars, maybe. But that was a... Oh, man. Extracurricular activities. Who was that? Was that the 36 getting into the back of the 93?
Aaron Abel in the 05 got smashed there as Andrews came back up.
Aaron Abel almost went on a Martin Truex, I believe, type ride.
Yeah,
down the back
there.
straightaway. My goodness.
Oh boy, we'll have to check that out. Meanwhile, Bruno Giacomo was the deserving winner of this race through and through. It was kind of like the Wawa Cup Series there. I mean, Drew Webb had everything thrown at him all season long, still got the race win. Bruno Giacomo got a lot thrown at him there at the end, and I didn't think he was going to win this race, but everyone else came down, inherited the race lead, had a good restart, and a much deserving win for Bruno Giacomo, and I think he's going to take the points lead as well, as the three guys ahead of him did not really have a good run here tonight. Ludovic Charette, of course, on the week he gets announced to Grattan Autosport, he finishes second. You know, Surrette's also not gotten a race victory on the channel before. He came close tonight. Troxel was up front all night. Andrew Williams was as well. But where did Roberto come from? They finished fifth. Trey Barto finishes sixth. Where's my man Barto coming from? Igor Barreto, Juan Rodriguez, Casey Nanico, and Derek Hamill. There was just no order to it at the end there. And we had some issues. Zachary Fitzwater, Blaine Keys, Avery Alford, and Sebastian Kukulon, I think, were caught up in that accident that brought out the caution during the cycle. Then you got Logan Williams 2 laps down. Brian Webb, another issue, as he had a camshaft. And then we had the other wreck with John Andrews and Aaron Abel at the end. But thoughts on this one, guys? Bruno Giacomo gets it done, and you know, is this going to be something that we see throughout the whole season?
In terms of the chaotic finish, or in terms of Bruno winning? Because
I don't know. All of it.
I think maybe potentially. I didn't actually see a lot of the craziness there at the end because I actually fell out, but I came back in time to watch the end of it. So I have no idea what happened to cause that caution, but the wreck on the backstretch, that's a shame for John Andrews. He was about to get a podium finish probably, and then he ends up getting turned on the last lap and doesn't even finish the race. By the way, Shane Lake with a rare retirement message there, an overheat. You don't see that one very often, but yeah, crazy ending to the race here at Richmond, and it kind of reminded me of the crazy ending at the end of the Turkey Hill National Series race a few years ago at Richmond, where there was a wreck coming to the white flag on the backstretch.
So just a big pile of trucks there. I cannot wait to see that replay, because John Andrews went Nathan Orman New Smyrna ride into the inside wall and then slid back up, and Aaron Abel is about as close as you're going to see somebody be to flipping here in NR at Richmond. But end of the day, though, the deserving winner did win the race, and Bruno Giacomo put on an absolute clinic once he got the 82 truck out in front. Was definitely Airgel was definitely sweating some bullets there at the end, but came through it, pulled up clutch, a fantastic first career victory.
What a race it was for him.
Today.
It was, and I'm sure Airgel's happy about that. I mean, had that whole season with two drivers that just did not perform for him in the Cup Series, and then third race here in the trucks. Bruno's definitely one to watch out for. Now that he's got the driver ratings, it's the first time Bruno's been able to do that, and you know, I think he's using that to his favor. It's with a good team as well, and obviously it all came to fruition here at the Richmond Raceway for his first career win on the channel here tonight in the Turkey Hill Truck Series at Richmond. We'll go ahead and review the accident and get right back to it here in the Virginia Is for Lovers 250 to close it out.
A lot of problems with that pit wall.
Come on, Fitzy. Oh man, this right here, this is yeah, this is what happened to bring out the caution on lap 60. There's no words to describe that. Alfred did get hit enough. It's kind of an odd moment right there. He kind of seemed to blow up right when he hit there. That kind of a hit, in my opinion, shouldn't cause an engine failure, but that is what ended up happening. And Fitzwater's just stopped on the racetrack here. I think Kukulon got caught up in something here. Maybe. I know we saw him out of the race. And Alfred's down there. I mean, realistically, that was a kind of minor incident. I think that's really all that we saw. You guys saw this in the corner of your screen when it first happened. Avery Alford and Zachary Fitzwater, the two drivers getting caught up in this one. And that's where it is. There's Kukulon and Williamson. We missed that. Let's go ahead and see what happened to these guys. Well, here's Fitzwater in the 54 again. Alfred getting caught up there. And then, I think, as you were saying, Brennan, Josh was actually trying to avoid it. He was trying to avoid it and kind of got sideswiped, and then Kukul on there had nowhere to go. That was the first one. Let's see the second one. And here we go, Ludovic Charette in the 14. Yeah, I don't know about that one. John's not going to be happy with him, that's for sure. Just spun him right into the inside wall, and Andrews tried to save it. That wasn't going to happen right there, and Aaron Abel, nowhere to go. Philip Torres caught up in this one as well. Juan Rodriguez in the 45. However, I think everyone did kind of get around. This is how Bartow ended up getting a good finish. You had Stapleton there in the 61. In the middle of all this, Ethan Lewis, Casey Nanico, they ended up going 4 wide there, but tough break for Aaron Abel. He's going to have a much better run than that, and he got caught up and taken out here at Richmond.
Well, Ludovic Charette, a little too much short track racing there. Aaron Abel and John Andrews, just a massive collision there for both of those two trucks. And see everybody, all these retirees ducking down pit road. The 61 tried to merge back up into the track and got into Noah Clifton. Just a very, very chaotic end to this race here with all sorts of trucks banging and Troxel getting slapped under yellow after the race. But this guy right here, he withstood the pressure tonight.
And he deserved the win, too. The guy who led the most laps and should have won, regardless of what happened at the end, did get the race victory. What a goofy race there. Goofy finish. Maybe that's why we've never come here in the trucks before. But, hey, either way, Bruno Giacomo gets his first career win, and I'm sure he's going to be happy about that one. And watch out for these guys this season. They're going to have a strong run throughout the year, I feel like. Eric Monaco, John Anders, Ethan Lewis, and Shane Lake all came down, like I think Brennan was mentioning there, kind of clipped that entry line going in, and they were all forced to pit. So yeah, I don't know. That's why you put the ratings into strategy, so stuff like that doesn't happen. Let's put it that way. Bruno Giacomo gets the race victory. And our next race is at Bristol, so it's just going to be more of this, I feel like, because that's the way Bristol is. That race will have a mid-race break, though, kind of like the Winchester race was in the Rowdy Energy Pro Series, and then also the Cup race earlier in the year. So hopefully we'll avoid shenanigans like this in that one. Maybe we'll just go ahead and, you know, for future Richmond races, do a mid-race break so we can avoid things like this as well. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and huge thanks to Brennan and Matt for joining me here tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the race. It was a lot of fun, and Bruno Giacomo gets it done here, and the Virginia is for Lovers 250. Here are the points for the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 3 races. We'll see you guys next week for the Rocky Ridge Trucks 250 at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I will see you guys later.